Hello and welcome to Dateline Lagos on Channels Television. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogum. Coming up on the program, Governor Sanwo-Olu launches SWIP initiative. The governor signs bills establishing 2 universities for Lagos and an update on the Lekki Regional Road project. The program kicks off with a clarion call from the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on the need for government and the private sector to collaborate and care for orphans and vulnerable groups in society. He made this known at the launch of the Social Welfare Integrated Program, otherwise known as SWIP initiative in Lagos.
Nigeria is confronted with a huge challenge of out-of-school children, orphans, and other vulnerable people. In 2018, Nigeria had about 13.2% households where children being raised with neither their mother nor children were present. Also, 7.3% of all households had children with an unknown survival status of their parent. In Lagos, the state government is taking a bold step to change the narrative by assisting vulnerable groups. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his wife arrived at Marriott Hall, Ikeja, to launch the Social Welfare Initiative program that will adequately cater for those in need. The group who has been on the forefront of the SWIP initiative are recognized by the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, who is also a supporter of the initiative. Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu says she will ensure that the initiative achieves its set objectives.
The launch today of the Social Welfare Integrated Program initiative is a commendable milestone in the bid to revolutionize social welfare practice in Lagos State, with the principal objective of caring for the vulnerable, especially children with special needs, mentally challenged individuals, and the elderly. You can see we were shown documentary both on the orphanages and the elder care. The SWIP project was conceived to bridge, like we're being told by the Secretary Joma, the existing gaps and support the current government and private sector efforts in the administration and management of social welfare in line with the team's agenda of the administration of Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, with emphasis on health, well-being, and education. SWIP is designed as a special intervention organization to support orphanages, elderly care homes, other non-governmental organizations in the state in 4 thematic areas of addressing their infrastructure, education, nutrition, and training needs for the carers. Whether you're running an agency for elderly care or taking care of people that are not too well, everything needs to be monitored. There must be policies, there must be sanctions if you do the wrong thing. And for these reasons, I humbly accept the responsibility to serve as the grand patron of SWIP organization as a call to serve and service in order to consolidate on the amazing objectives to enable best practices in social welfare administration in the overall interest of vulnerable, especially children, the elderly, and mentally challenged individuals.
Members of the SWIP initiative seek more support for orphans and the elderly in Lagos.
The social welfare system is the bedrock of any functional modern society. It provides a safety net for the most vulnerable members of our society, assisting needy individuals and families, and maybe saving the society from the burden of many who, due to circumstances of maybe birth or age, find themselves in this situation. And sometimes they fall through the cracks. Statistics from UNICEF tell us that 7 million babies are born every year in Nigeria. And out of this, 75% are actually below the poverty line. We're a population of 200 million plus. And out of this population, 17.5 million are either orphans or vulnerable. These numbers are huge. All they need is opportunity, access to health, access to education, access to shelter. They need homes where they will be loved, where they'll be cared for, where they will thrive, where they can develop to become anything. So you have your scientists, your inventors, your artists, your engineers, all of them. All they need is opportunity.
So your parents haven't paid. Is that why you're not going? Oh, they haven't paid.
Just before Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu got to the event, he came across two young girls running errands for their parents at the time they should have been in school.
Kano, Father Lord Almighty. How old are you? 12. How old are you? 9. So where you go? You're going to grind pepper? Yes. For your parents there? Yes. Where do they stay?
Anthony.
Eh? Anthony.
Yes.
The governor is touched and says he will take the lead to care for orphans and children with special needs.
Because I've taken it upon myself that these two girls will never suffer what we saw this morning. The lady that is in something that appears as a school uniform, because we're going to find out. Her name is Chidima Amarachi. She's 9 years old. Guess what she said? She said she's not going to go to school until Monday. And I asked her why. She said her parents cannot afford. She mentioned the name of the school. Of course, it's a private school. So my question is, if as a parent, you cannot afford to put your child in a private school, there are so many public schools, public primary schools, that were doing great things. We have Eco Excel that are doing great things. Why would you defer and deny, please let's leave the picture, and deny a 9-year-old girl from not going to school? Amarachi will go back to school by the grace of God. And she will be somebody that I will follow up to till when she finishes her education. The second young girl, her name is Suwebat. You can see from her hijab, pretty looking young girl. She's 12 years old. Guess what? She's not in school. She could speak English. She could pick it together, but she's not in school. Why? Her parents, they just relocated from Jigawa State to Lagos over a month ago. And so there is no plan at all for her, for them to register into school. This is a classic example of what we need to do differently as a society. This is an example of what we all need to take up in this room as an example. So they will not ask the question, what brought the parents to Lagos? That's not for this gathering. But since you've taken a decision to bring a 12-year-old to Lagos, and there are public schools that you don't need to pay a dime to get into. This is Anthony Village. It's not in the suburb of Lagos. This is in the heart of a city. And they're going to grind pepper, they're going to grind beans at 11 o'clock in the morning. These two girls will indeed be under my care and the care of the First Lady. We all can make the difference if we choose to as a generation. Because there's no better thing that we can give to mankind than ensuring that we can make life better for our next door neighbor.
As the Social Welfare Integrated Program kicks off in top gear, the Lagos State Government are asking other concerned Nigerians to join hands with SWIP and ensure that disadvantaged children and the elderly are not neglected.
The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has signed bills for the establishment of additional 2 universities in the state, Lagos State University of Education and Lagos State University of Science and Technology, and has been already approved by the NUC, that's the National Universities Commission, to join the list of other universities in the country. Take a look.
The discrimination between polytechnic and university graduates has lingered for several decades. This issue has prompted the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to change the Lagos State Polytechnic to University of Science and Technology. Also, the Adeniran Ogunsoya College of Education, Michael Otedola College of Primary Education is now Lagos State University of Education.
History already has been made.
Governor Sanwo-Olu signed the bills for the establishment of the additional 2 universities in the state at Lagos House, Marina, witnessed by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Education, Tokunbo Wahab, and the Commissioner for Justice, Moyosore Onigbanjo.
Chairman Government Council of the Lagos State Polytechnic, now to be known as Lagos State University. The elsewhere rector of the Polytechnic, the elsewhere chairman of the College of Education, Ichaniki, now to be known as Lagos State College, Lagos State University of Education. Provost of this elsewhere College of Education as well, the chairman of the elsewhere Michael Otedola College of Education, now to be known as Lagos State University of Education, and also the elsewhere provost of that College of Education, gentlemen of the press. You can see that even history already has been made. I have just appended my signature to the 2 new bills. The law of Lagos State establishing the Lagos State University of Science and Technology and the Lagos State University of Education. You are part of this history event that have just been made here today. Lagos State and its indigene have now been blessed with 2 additional universities. What we've just done that appears so simple is history that we're all about. It's history that we're all writing. And generations that are coming behind us will remember this very bold, audacious decision that was taken.
In making this a reality, the governor meets with the National Universities Commission at the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and secured 2 licenses for the establishment of the Lagos State University of Education and the Lagos State University of Science and Technology. This is coming 39 years after the first university license was granted during the administration of late Lateef Jakonde for the Lagos State University, LASU.
39 years after, I, as the governor, the 15th governor of the state, have another unique opportunity that I'm in front of you to seek, to request, to plead for the approval and possibly hand over certificates to me at the end of this. 2 universities for our citizens in Lagos and of course in Nigeria in general. We're happy that the State Executive Council, the Lagos State House of Assembly, the community leaders, the current leadership of these institutions agree, and we all work in tandem to ensure that we can today be birthing 2 universities in Lagos State. We believe that what we're about today is about the history. It's about the future of our citizens. It's about the future of our youth who truly believe in us to do the right thing. We believe, with the approval that we have sought in front of you, to have our elsewhere Lagos State Polytechnic as the University of Science and Tech, will bring about
innovative engineering, science, invention, and things that is critical and clear to the development of our country and our state.
Lagos State has had only one university for the last 39 years, but has managed this university very effectively. And as I said again and again, we have seen the commitment, the concern of the governor towards providing credible leadership to that state university when he insisted on doing the right thing, not once, not twice, but thrice. We are happy that even from the composition of the leadership of the legacy institutions and what we have seen in LASO, this is a government and a governor that are interested in equity and inclusiveness, where the gender, because we are in NUC working with the universities to deliberately promote more female administrators, universities as role models to our young girls, boys across the country. So we believe that your requests are in order.
Away from Marina, at a press briefing in Alausa, the special advisor on education explains the process of admission into the new universities.
There's what we call the transition clause in the law. The transition clause allows that they have to graduate for what they applied for. So, for instance, you are in Madino College of Education year 2 or year 1. What the new law provides for is that the school cannot admit new students for NCE programs. But the students that are already in the school, they have to graduate for the courses they applied for. So the structure will be there, but will be phased out in the next 2-3 years to allow the last students to graduate. So that's what we're going to run for them. It's a transition program and a transition clause. And for the lecturers, for those in the Polytechnic and the colleges of education that are becoming university, they have to recalibrate their system to suit what is obtainable in the university. For instance, the peak for you as a lecturer in Polytechnic and College of Education is chief lecturer. That doesn't apply for a university system. So we're going to convert them to be in tandem with the new provisions of the law. However, nobody will be asked to go home because there will be a transition period for you to also meet up your obligations. That will be discussed between the management, the technical committee, and then the new structure we are putting in place and the schools. Our plan is the school should be able to admit for 2022-2023 academic session. The cutoff mark will be determined by the school in conjunction with JAMB. That is clear. Now, peradventure, you are not able to make it. Maybe you wait. But those schools will not be able to admit new students going forward from this year, because you can't have 2 regulators at the same time. You can't have 2 masters at the same time. We have chosen to be a university, and that puts us under the purview of the NUC.
He also says that the state government is set to empower over 100,000 students through its ECO digital project and also train others under its job initiative program this year.
There's what we call the ECO digital project. ECO digital project is a project wherein we take time to go to our schools, public and private schools, to teach those kids the soft skills they need in the time, in the season. Skills like Python, coding, clouding, and stuff like that. And as at last count, we've done over 341,000 beneficiaries in our public and private schools. Why are we doing this? We find out over time that it's not everybody that is cut out for a university or polytechnic education. If you have the right skills, you can choose, you know what, with these skills, I can start earning a living for myself. I'm not dependent on anybody. And that has given us traction, and that we have covered over 341,000. Then on the other leg of it is what we do in our tertiary. It used to be called Ready Set Work. We renamed it Job Initiative Lagos and deepened the contents. And in the last Last year we did about 31,000 across the state. Total we've done in 2 years plus is 60,227 or thereabout. What this has done for us is those in the penultimate year and the final year in our tertiary institutions have the privilege of being taught those soft skills they need in the labor market. And those that also choose to be entrepreneurs, they guide them appropriately, they mentor them, and then they give them the platform of Lagos Employment Trust Fund to assist them in setting up their own businesses. But for Eco Digital, I can tell you for a fact we should do over 100,000 this year for 2022.
For the year 2022, 12.6% has been allocated for the education sector, and the state government is promised to address more infrastructure deficits in schools across the state.
The Lekki Regional Road construction is at top gear, and the Lagos State government says the project will ease traffic within the Lekki sub-region when completed. Take a look.
Last year, the Lagos State government commenced the construction of the Lekki Regional Road project to help ease traffic along the Lekki-Epe corridor.
They are going 35.3. They will go
5 months into the construction, the project is moving at a fast pace, with the piling works for the pedestrian bridges completed, while the sand filling and dredging on the road alignment has been achieved. In an interview with the Special Advisor on Works, Aramida Adeyoye, she says that the project will be completed in due time.
There are 4 projects this administration have considered as the legacy projects that will deliver. The Regional Road represents one of them, just as you have the Dot of Baby. It was flagged off 2 weeks ago. You also, apart from that, you also have the Fort Mainland Bridge, and then you have the Lekki Expressway. For the Lekki Expressway, that is going on course and likely to be delivered even ahead of schedule, on or before the not before the end of second quarter. That's for the Lekki Expressway from Ibedu Junction to Ekpe Junction. For the Fort Mainland Bridge, by the second quarter, we should get to the point where we can get at the financial close, whoever is coming as the preferred bidder to be able to start some form of starting operation works, some early works. So that's for the second project. For the third project is also this Dota Bridge, which is also was flagged off just about a week and a half ago. That's also running very well. As a matter of fact, I think the borehole and the CPT test and some things were carried out yesterday, and the contractor is fully on site. For the fourth one, which is this regional road, the regional road actually was awarded about a year and a half ago. So given the timeline that we said, I think we ran out of that timeline, but we're still very much on course. I'm glad that you were there 4 months ago when the contractor started piling works on the large diameter board piles. To date, on the VDC axis for that scissors-like bridge, so it's scissors-like in nature that crisscrosses across on the flyover. The piling works have all been completed in that area, and you saw visible evidence. You could see the pairs already come up. Yes. So you were at the spots where, so right now the contractor today actually did some massive concrete works around the abutment at the beginning. So for any bridge, you have your abutment, you approach the abutment, you have, of course, then your pairs, you can glide and then come over to the last abutment. So by the end of next week, I think all of the pair works will have been finished. So clearly, you can see that that bridge is running on course. For the other works, when you move across Ikota and then and then down towards Freedom Road Junction, you also have some other works being carried out. The beauty of it is that most of the works that the contractor is doing, they are off-site. Once you deliver all of these bridges, the main bridge, the pedestrian bridges all across, the real work itself, all of those precast works have been done in Ibadan, in their yard in Ibadan. So it's a matter of using the low bed, the low bed to bring all of those precast units, and then they begin to launch them.
The project is a 8.75 kilometer road which comprises a 500 meters bridge, 251 meters interchange, 50 meters bicycle lane, and an adjoining 500 meters road that will provide easy access to VGC, Ikate Elegushi, Ikota, Chevron Drive, Ajinron, Pinnock Beach Estate, Gracefield Island, and Orange Island. The special advisor explains that the Lekki Infrastructure Master Plan is a precursor to the proposed 4th Mainland Bridge and will also serve as an alternative route to Lekki-Epe Expressway.
Along that regional road, you saw the massive stockpile of sand. You saw the right-of-way acquisition. The church to the left. It took a long time to get some of those structures, acquire those right-of-way with those structures in place. So we've done all of those ones. Dredging works, acquisition of right-of-way, pilot testing, the piling itself, the power cap, the piers. So you are seeing the finished visible work, but then the real work, and then the precast offsite. All of those ones are taking place. So you are just seeing the visible evidentiary work, but the real work is actually been done offsite and then pre-early works of relocation works. Why are we doing this road? We're doing it so that we can improve the serviceability level that you have presently on the Epe Expressway. People go through traffic, horrendous traffic. It's killing. So what we're trying to do is provide alternative to the present Lekki-Epe Expressway. So it's like a parallel route to that Lekki-Epe Expressway. And at the end of it, this 4th Mainland Bridge is coming from Abraham Adesoyan. So when you say it's a precursor, it's like a beginning of a 4th Mainland Bridge. The Abraham Adesoyan junction is about the beginning of the 4th Mainland Bridge, and you go over the river. So for people living around Lekki who are intending to go to Ikorodu, who ordinarily will have gone through the hold up, the rigor, the stress of the traffic, all you just need to do is ramp up at the Abraham Adesoyan, ramp up over the waters down towards Ikorodu, Bayoku, bust out at Konakorego, and that's it.
The Lagos State government is assuring residents that all road projects will be completed by the present administration.
That's the program for this week, and thank you for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balugum. Till we come your way again next time, please stay safe.